My route into video design started way back in about 2006. I was working on Lord of the Rings with a designer called Rob Howell. So that was back when I was a set designer. And while I was there, my best friend Ben, who I went to college with, asked me to do a little bit of animation for a Christmas show he was doing in Northampton. So I put together just a little sequence and kind of sent it back from Canada. And they liked that, so they wanted a couple more sequences in the show, so there were about 3 or 4 in the end. So yeah, I mean, I'd worked with Bruce on 2 plays previously, both in Singapore, both of which I didn't actually get to go to Singapore to do, so it was a remote thing, so we'd never worked together properly, and we'd always wanted to kind of actually work in the same space. So there was no prep for Man to Man at all, really. It was just get to Cardiff, and we kind of made it in the space, and that was something that I had never really done before, because usually there's a lot of pre-production. Because there was a big film element, we could do stuff quite last minute, and luckily at the Western we had this big studio space right next to the theatre. The biggest change for me was just adapting the video to a different size set. From the original show, we had, there's a certain size of the wall and the floor that I was mapping the video to. And the video you can change the size of it, but because it was kind of going around specific areas like the door and the window, I had to rework all of them at a smaller size and basically just remake everything again. Well, the experience working with this creative team was very good. I mean, I had worked with Bruce before, and also Mike and Rick, actually. It's just that because those shows were the ones I did in Singapore with Bruce, I didn't go over, so I didn't have that creative collaboration in the normal sense, because I was working from a different country. So getting to work with them properly was brilliant. Bruce's relationship with Welsh College meant that we had access to some actors and actresses from there that were willing to come down and be filmed as part of the design in the kind of the shadow portions of the design. So when you see some of the shadows that are kind of on the walls that Maggie's character is either reacting to or interacting with. My favourite moment of the play, it's probably the ice wall, which was a sequence that Bruce asked me to do. One of the first ones he asked me to do, actually. One of the first things he mentioned. And he just gave me, as a reference, a scene from X-Men 2. It was just a really great and unexpected moment in the show. Maggie blows on the window and it just erupts from there, and Mike's sound and just everything working together as one thing is my favourite bit, I think. Well, key tips for getting into video design. I mean, I don't know any video designers that obviously trained in video design, and I don't think it's that you need to know about video design. You need to know about story, theatre and design in general. So I think any discipline that you come from is useful, but you've also got to be able to know when your design's wrong, even if you spent weeks on it. If a director comes in and says it's not right for the show, then you've got to trust them that it's not right for the show. And quite often it's the easiest, simplest bits of your design that will take you the longest, because you have no idea, but yeah, always the way. It's actually quite a large-scale show technically. Content-wise, there's a lot of video design in the show, and there's a tricky balance as well, trying to make sure that it's sympathetic to what's going on stage, and it's up there with anything that I've done in or around the West End. There's a high level of kind of polish and finish to the show that wouldn't be out of place kind of anywhere, really. So I mean, as far as a Fringe show goes, this is quite a major production to be put on in the Edinburgh Fringe.